Nickeil Alexander-Walker just signed a 4-year, $62 million deal with the Atlanta Hawks.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker is maybe the best point guard available on the open free agent market.
But before he secured that life-changing contract, I sat down to talk with him about everything basketball.
You get drafted and what happens?
Coming off this incredible high of summer league, and I can't wait. Training camp's gonna come and I'm gonna play and I'm just gonna show them like what I can bring to the team. I'm gonna show them my value, and then the business and hierarchy and waiting your turn and paying your dues. And at first I'm like, well, why am I not playing?
From growing up in Canada and having to leave his family behind to pursue his hoop dreams, to learning how to survive the mental grind of the NBA, to what it's like having to defend the greatest shooter of all time. This was a unique opportunity for me, and I really enjoyed getting to meet Nickeil and appreciate him being so open and honest. So without further ado, let's get into the conversation.
Yeah. So go back to being drafted, because you got drafted and then you bounced around multiple teams. What was that feeling like, and what was going on in each organization that, and you personally? Like, I understand the business of basketball and I understand trying to get on court, but you were nearly a lottery pick at 17, right?
Yeah.
And you don't see much of the court, and there's just so much going on. So like, you get drafted and what happens?
So because of the team, it was like that rebuild that New Orleans had kind of put together. And it was like really supposed to pan out. We had Lonzo, we had Drew Holiday, we had Brandon Ingram, Zion.
Yep.
Derek Favors at the time was playing really well. Like, he was always leaving the game with a double-double.
Yep.
It was like the unsung hero.
Yeah.
JJ Redick.
That's right.
Etwan Moore. It was so heavy in like guards, and like especially veteran guards. So for me, it was tough because you're coming off this incredible high of summer league, and you're thinking, man, I can't wait. Like, training camp's gonna come and I'm gonna play, and I'm just gonna show them like what I can bring to the team. I'm gonna show them my value, and then boom, the business and hierarchy and waiting your turn and paying your dues and putting in time and all those reps in the stay in shape leagues. And at first I'm like, well, why am I not playing? Like, I don't, and I was able to actually work my way into the rotation.
Right.
So my first game I played,
Yeah.
didn't shoot the ball well at all, but it was cool. It was at home. Like, I was able to play. Like
Well, what's going on in your head when you finally play and you're not shooting well?
it was,
How do you stay cool, like in those high pressure moments, first game?
it was such an adjustment, because that preseason, I remember I played my first game against Atlanta, don't come into the third. I played my first game against Atlanta and I don't come into the third. But then I had like 12. And then, who's our second game against? I know our second game, maybe Chicago. And I don't play, same thing, don't play the third. We're down like 20 something. I come back in and I have like maybe 17 at that time, maybe 14 or something. We have this crazy comeback. We win. I remember it was like cool because I missed 2 free throws, or I missed like important free throws at that time. And I came back and I hit a 3 to tie it. And then we go home, I want to say, and we play Utah at home. And I'm frying at Utah at home. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm getting a feel for the NBA. So then there was summer league. Then there was preseason. I'm like, okay, I'm playing well in preseason. So, and I guess because each and every game, it was a little more. And then we go to the Garden, and I play well in the Garden in preseason. And after that, I guess I had worked my way into like, okay, we're going to have to find a role for Nickeil, even though our team's deep. So I play in Toronto, my first game ever, and I'm not nervous, but I put pressure on myself to play well because it's your first game in Toronto, and it's like set the tone, like, and it just never settled down. Like, when people say like the game slows down and then you get a feel and now you're in your groove and you're in the zone, like, for me, it just never settled down because I was so on edge to to like do well. And I think it hurt. And I thought like, okay, after the first one went in, it was like, all right, now they're going to start falling, but then it didn't. Ended up losing that game. And then each game still couldn't really find it the way I had it in preseason. And I was starting to get a real feel like, okay, like this is my welcome to the NBA moment, kind of, so to speak. Like it's just not what you thought it was. Like,
Oh, so it wasn't a player. It was like the ups and downs of being in the league.
Yeah.
This is like the mental battle of being in the league.
Yeah, that's definitely what it was. And then I realized like, how do I adjust? But because our team was so deep and because I was a rookie, your adjustments aren't going to be 20 games later. You're going to have to sit down, wait for your next opportunity, and then make sure you don't make the same mistakes you did, or find a way to actually make those shots that you're taking. Especially for me and Chris Finch butt heads because I think my shot selection as a rookie, he felt at the time like I was doing too much. And for me, I'm just young and eager. I just want to prove myself. So you could kind of see that like for me, it was tough to figure out because now playing in a system, adjusting to the system of where I'm at.
Well, before skipping, I'm curious, was there anyone who came in, a coach, a trainer, a player, who gave you some wisdom or something that happened through practice that helped you like bridge that point of coming off the bench and being able to be like a microwave, come in and score? Because the ability to sit on the bench and then get up and go play is really difficult, especially when you're coming off a slump. I'm curious, what is helpful? Is there a routine? Is there anything that you did mentally to stay ready or perform better in that sort of when you're at a low?
I had really good vets, and I would say Stan, he was in the weight room. He was like for me mainly, like me and Stan worked a lot. Be great. He was player development. He wasn't at the time like his role kept, but he's been with the organization for so long. And Drew, JJ, I would say, and Darius Miller.
What about their game helped you realize that there's something to change here or adjust with?
Drew is very, I think he's able to see the bigger picture in a lot of ways. And for me, he seemed like someone that never allowed things to really get to him, like really weigh in on him. I remember like Drew's just like it's all good. Like, yeah, you care. Yeah, you want to do well. But if you don't, try again. Like he never put pressure on himself. JJ was very meticulous with his routine and how he did things. And like, I remember just annoying JJ. Yo, can I shoot you? What do you do this? Like, how do you find a routine? How did you get to this routine? He's well, it's just trial and error. And at the time, I remember thinking like, dang, I don't have time for trial and error. Like, I remember, and it's like, now that I look back at it.
This is the truth. You don't have time for trial and error. You get some minutes in the third quarter and you have to perform well, else you get sat back on the bench. So what did you do?
I think it's the inevitable. Like, you have to fail. You kind of have to fail. And like, it's the cliche of every success story. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fail. You got to just go for it. But yeah, I tried this routine. Didn't work. But there's things that I realized that were helping me. And you got to just keep going with it until you get it. And once you finally get it, you can't cut corners. And the thing is, I was never someone that would cheat anything. Not going to sell myself short. Because long term, I feel like in my heart, it wouldn't be right. However, I was trying to turn every corner as sharp as possible. And like to that point, if you ever watch like F1, if you ever watch racing, even if you like are in the cars and you drive and you're on a racetrack, every time they tell you once you're approaching a corner and you cut it and you turn it, you have to round out afterwards.
Yep.
That's going to allow you to like kind of set yourself up to turn the next one. And I think for me, I didn't understand rounding myself out. It was more like turn. And then eventually you're going to spin out, you're going to crash or whatever. And that's inevitably what happened because I was impatient with the things that like I didn't have control over.
Yeah. So when you crash, who's there?
My family. I have a friend that's infamous for being a very estranged person. Like his name, we call him Goggles.
Okay.
And everyone has heard one Goggles story.
Okay.
And there's so many different stories about him that will make you they'll make you laugh and you say like, no way, this guy's a real person.
Okay.
But since I met him when I was like 8 or 9.
Oh, okay.
The neighborhood that I used to live in, that I moved from, he lived in at the time. My mom grew up there. My uncle grew up there, Shay's dad. And they would always bring me back there to play basketball.
Mm.
So first time I meet him, we're playing basketball. Ever since we've been friends, kept in touch. When I moved to America, he would watch and try to live stream all of my games from high school. And then he would give me like breakdown, like, you did this really well. You have to continue to do this. Look out for this. If you want to get to the next level, you're going to have to be better at this. And he really like took the time and dedicated to like watching me develop and wanting to help me develop and just like wanting me to be my best version of myself. And I think he was one person that like I just always talked basketball with.
Yep.
And there was a point in time where my confidence definitely suffered and it wavered because I didn't understand the business and I wasn't at the time where I am mentally now. And I think it took a huge hit. And then I had to like learn from that. And I remember like seeing a video, maybe it was like Gilbert Arenas or somebody. And he was talking about like, once you lose your confidence, that's it. And I was like, damn, it's me. Yeah. I'm like, it's over now. Like I lost. So
did he watch your games and give you some feedback, or he was there and you guys just bounced off what was going on and you sort of talked it out? Because I think a big aspect that's missed in the NBA lifestyle and game is the mental aspect. And I think that's why we prize people like Kobe so much and Gilbert Arenas for their mentality. One small anecdote about Gilbert Arenas that I love is his training of Elijah Arenas up until this point has been really unique. It's gone against the grain to put him in a public school rather than, some of the great California private schools to sort of fast track him. And I heard him say something really interesting about building the mindset of going against doubles and triple teams so that Elijah would face harder defenses and have to develop the dog mentality and not rely on teammates, because that's something you can do later once you reach college and basketball. Is when you start playing with talent, you can start dishing. But to turn off the ultra green light, it's way easier. It's harder to put that back on. And so the mentality aspect I find extremely interesting, because what you said early in your career is like, I have the green light. When you let me go, can perform. When you start adding restrictions and limiting my minutes and not whatever was going on, it gets much harder to perform. And you can place those restrictions on yourself. Like you showed up in Toronto and were like, I'm ready to go ham.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But that mental, I find this part really interesting, is the mental part of the game, and why people do what they do. It's interesting that the friend he was the catalyst as to helping you rise out of that low point.
Yeah. I had a friend at the time come live with me as well. I had a good system. Like my mom cared tremendously and she was always there. I had my uncle. I think what just felt comfortable was that friend.
Yep.
And I think even to this day, there's times where like I'll kind of just go on a rant, like not really thinking, not letting the emotions settle or anything. I'll just go on a rant. And then like he'll read it and then he'll go on a rant back. But then he's able to like kind of help me see, and like he's almost wind through the fog, and it clears it up in a sense. Now I'm like, okay, yeah, I see your point. And interesting enough, it's almost like it's the last person on earth you would expect to do that because of who he is as a person.
Oh yeah.
And that's what like blows my mind sometimes, and we laugh about it because I'm like, bro, like
Of all the people.
I always tell him like, you'll go say something like this, and then you'll just, I don't know, like just be an airhead outside, and I'm just like, how do you get?
How are you
to
so
these?
wise,
Yeah,
but
and
also
I'm like,
such an idiot?
Yeah, exactly.
We all have those friends. They're the best. They'll
Mhm.
just say something that's straight to the heart, and you're like, damn,
Yeah.
that really changed something. And then they'll go, I've got a lot of drinking friends that do dumb stuff outside.
Yeah, he's like Yoda, and then the next minute he's a 3-month-old puppy, like just
lost.
yeah, lost.
Just
like
lost.
I don't get it.
I think you had a really interesting come up starting in Canada. I'm curious if you could sort of detail major points so that people understand, because you're a Canadian player, a Canadian person living in America playing basketball. And I think when I was researching for this podcast, you got leaving high school to basically commit to playing basketball is a really interesting thing people don't understand. And I'm curious what was like sort of growing up with Shea and growing up as a basketball player and then committing to basketball so much so that you moved to America to chase this dream. And the sort of the person you had that I assume is Shea at the time.
Yeah.
Because you're moving countries.
Yeah.
So can you tell me like what was high school like? What were you as a player? And what were the moments that you sort of figured out, oh, I might be able to go take this to the next level?
So it was my earliest memory from Canada was I always had a basketball. It was never introduced. If you ask me like when was basketball introduced to you, I don't know, because I was so young that it was always there. Like I just, from as long as I can remember, I've had a basketball and I just love playing. And I think Shea and I shared that love, and because my mom and his dad were very close, we were also very close. And us being less than 2 months apart in age made it a lot easier to be very close. And we would play all the time. I had a Fisher Price net, and we'd practice like Allen Iverson up and unders.
Was that one of your favorite players growing up?
Yeah, it's like one that was like not forced on us, but it was like, yeah, this is who is amazing, because his dad, that was his favorite player. That's like his all-time favorite player. And so like we just watched a lot of Allen Iverson.
Yep.
And then the more you start to watch basketball, Kobe Bryant, and then a young LeBron.
Yep.
Like for us, like the T-Mac era was towards the end for him, because of like when we were born, and like, or even to just really comprehend. Like I was 5 with that year that everyone says T-Mac was like better than Kobe.
Yep.
So it's like, for me, I'm not gonna remember that. But like we would YouTube him, YouTube Manu, and fast forward to like just growing, and like for me, skill was something I could rely on. I wasn't the tallest, wasn't the fastest, wasn't nowhere near built to be the strongest either. So skill was my bread and butter. And then high school comes, Shea moves to Hamilton, or like a little earlier than that, but he's in Hamilton. I'm in like Scarborough still. And I go to Vaughan, and I'm like 5'7", 130.
What grade were you? 5'7"?
9th grade.
Okay.
And I'm like puny, like, and I was able to play, but I wasn't doing well. For us, it was like, I was like, there's junior and senior, which is like JV and varsity, and obviously I was on the JV team. I started, but I probably averaged 5 points. But me and my friend, he's like my cousin in a sense, because like my dad and his dad were like best friends growing up. And we would sneak in the gym and work out. And we would hide in the locker room, let the janitors think we left to stay back to work out. And my other friend Fauzi too, like we would just shoot. And I was just finding ways to always play. And then like I loved the game so much that I always wanted to get better. And that was the only thing on my mind, like training, getting better. I go to now the next year hits and I'm 5'11", 6 foot. I grew a little bit.
It's a lot.
Now I'm like coming into my body and now I'm like really playing well. I remember my friend Jaquan had gone to prep school and like everyone's like, yo, you kind of have to find a prep school to go to, just because like at the time, Andrew Wiggins went to Vaughn before me. He left, went to Huntington. My cousin left, went to Pennsylvania, ended up playing at OU. And then his brother did the same thing. So I was like, okay, staying here is not an option. And this is like the early stage where guys couldn't stay in Canada. So like we were like the end of that era of like you can't stay in Canada to go and
There's not enough talent here to get better.
To get recruited. More so getting better kind of, but like just to get recruited. And I remember Jaquan came back. He's like, there's a game that day. He's watching a game. And I said to him, like, how much do you want me to score? He was like, I don't know. I said, okay, I'm going to get 50. I don't know how I actually got 50. That's the only time I've ever been able to do that. I've never been able to do it again, but I actually got 50.
You got to ask this guy more questions about how many points he wants you to
and
score.
Then after that is when I'm like, okay, I'm definitely ready.
This is 10th grade.
Yeah, like I'm definitely
Right
ready
before,
now.
yeah.
So I transfer. I remember the school I was supposed to go to fell through. Like it just didn't work out. And that was in Jersey. So then there's a guy named Godwin.
Is this the first time you've been to America? I'm curious, like how much is new versus how much just feels.
Maybe as a kid, I might have gone to America like Buffalo.
Yeah.
Because it was right by Toronto. And everyone would go to Buffalo for the outlet malls and drive right back. I don't think.
So you find yourself in New Jersey.
Yeah, I don't think. Oh, no. I did an AAU tournament in like maybe grade 8 or something like that. So maybe that wasn't my first time in the States. But I thought, so I was supposed to go to New Jersey. I didn't end up going to St. Louis Christian Academy with Godwin because he played on the U16 team.
Yep.
I was U15. He played U16. And he was going to that school. They had an opening. So I said, you know what? Okay, I'm going with him. So now I'm 16, leaving my mom, leaving my grandma. It's hitting now. Like, and I remember feeling like the day I was leaving, because we had to drive to go to John Lucas. And that from John Lucas, I was going to drive back with them to go to school. And I remember thinking like, I better like make something of this because I'm leaving my house for good. I'm leaving my friends for good. And I'm supposed to like become like what? Like what? I can't leave for no reason. Like now I have no choice but to go to the NBA. I'm like missing all this time with my family. I'm sacrificing so much. And I remember the first time of leaving home and feeling like terrified.
Yep.
Like it was such an uncomfortable feeling. And it's like I immediately wanted to go back home from the time I left. But I knew I also really wanted, because I've been begging my mom to leave to go play. And that season goes well. I start to get like a few schools kind of interested, and I played well my sophomore year. Shay's now about to leave to go to Hamilton Heights because he's like, you know what? I'm ready for my last 2 years. And I'm transferring out of St. Louis because it just wasn't the right situation. And so I'm like, okay, let me go play with you. End up playing with him. Definitely the best decision I made, like just having family, living with our host family. And they really became family. Like to this day, we talk to them. We got to like, the head coach was our host dad, but we got to like become so a part of their family that like when he found out they were having his daughter, we were there to surprise him.
Wow.
Like,
I heard the school had like 100 students or something like
maybe
that.
less.
Like, maybe
Maybe less. It was a whole gymnasium, a high school gymnasium, like a supply closet that they turned into like a classroom, a religion classroom or something like that. And then a hallway with 5 classrooms.
Wow.
Hallway with 5 classrooms, and then a set of lockers. What was funny about that school was the girls were like top 10 in the country, and then we were like at some point in time top 10, like top 15 in the country. 100 kids from all over.
Yep.
Maybe less than 100 kids, but our basketball programs was really good.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. We used to like eat lunch in the gym. They would set up tables and you're eating on the court. Like there's 3-point line. Like literally you're on the court eating lunch on a table that they just unfolded. And they would order it from like a catering service. I don't know, whoever did like hot plates. Like, you know, like go to Whole Foods and groceries.
Just
like,
bring you guys 30 dishes.
Yeah.
And that's fucking school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have my own thoughts about what the school does.
No, but it was the most fun. Like to this day, we look back at it and like the laughs, like I would pay $5 million to go back to enjoy those laughs, like, and just to like relive some of those moments that we had and how funny it was and how good life was, even though, you know, like the brush broke down and we got to figure out how to push it up a hill or whatever the case may be. Like we were playing basketball, we were getting recruited, our team was good, we had a chance to win some games, played against high level competition.
I love that, by the way, that's something you would trade up for. I'm curious if some of the high level competition you played in that time period that really stood out to you, and also not surprising that they made the league.
Mm-hmm. Like we played Memphis East on TV. That was like when Penny had them like ranked high in the country. We played.
What were some of the
Gary
names?
Trent.
Yeah.
We played. There's so many. I'm gonna forget. It's gotta come back to me. Mo Bamba, Cam Reddish, Thon Maker, Athletes Institute. When did they have Jamal there? No, I played Jamal.
Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray. Sorry. There's a bunch of other schools I think Brandon Randolph went to Arizona. He was on that Westtown team. What else did I play in high school? Everything was like circuit wise as well. It's not coming to me right now, and I'm bothered. But I remember we played someone in a tournament.
What was one moment that really stuck out during that time? You said you had the good memories, but I'm curious, on the floor, playing basketball with your cousin on the same team, what are some like highlight key moments you'll think back on?
I think basketball wise, definitely gonna be the Memphis East game in Memphis. Crazy atmosphere. That was cool. It being on TV. When we played against Jalen Fisher, he went to TCU, I think.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, he was probably top 60, top 100 or something. And that was in Memphis too. winning City of Palms. The game against Mo Bamba, Cam Reddish, and that one went to overtime. So that was a good one that we were able to win. But also, like, I think lunch was probably the funniest.
Lunch is your favorite memory?
Yeah. Lunch is my favorite memory. Like, we used to sit there and like be in tears every day of laughing. We had this dude named Myron, and Myron's probably the funniest human I've ever met in my life.
Does Myron play basketball or he just went to the school?
So the thing is, Myron played basketball, but he was just a genius. Like he wasn't good enough to make the team, but he also had that sense of delusion that was also like hilarious. Like Myron was my class, maybe 15, like probably 2 years up because of how smart he was. And he was like applying for like Vanderbilt, Lipscomb, and like gonna get into like really good schools because like he was really smart. He was just so naive and like he was just a funny dude as well. And Myron's like workouts, he would like shoot the ball. He would never, ever, ever take a mid-range, shoot a layup. It was all deep threes. He'd shoot the ball wherever it goes. He grabs it, shoots it from there.
Oh, wow.
Like that was his workout.
I think I know the type of guy Myron is.
Like he was just, first shot of the day is going to be a 3. He's going to shoot it. It's going to bounce.
Gonna run to the other side of the court.
Yeah,
Shoot it. It's gonna run to the other side of the court.
It's going to hit the wall.
Yeah.
He's going to pick it up, shoot a corner 3. It's going to go wherever.
Yeah.
He's going to shoot another 3. Like Myron's just, like he loved the game, but he was just so himself. Like there's so many funny Myron stories too. When he tried to buy he bought a jumping program that that gives you bounce.
Yep.
And a week later, he's got tendonitis in his knees.
Oh, God. He had gone too hard with the weights.
And he said he
Injured
couldn't
himself.
run. He said he was, like, it was hilarious. So he wants to do our workouts. He's like, yeah, I can't. Like I got tendonitis or I got something.
I injured myself on that jumping program, so I can't walk anymore.
And he wasn't supposed to buy it. He asked his mom for the money for the program because he told her he was buying 2K.
And he bought a jumping program? This guy's a fucking clown.
But yeah, that's Myron though.
That's
That was
awesome.
Myron though. He's hilarious. But after that, I think our senior year, it didn't finish the way we wanted it to, but it was like we had really, really, really like stamped ourselves and being able to play. It was after the summer we came back. We had like Team Canada. Shay went to like the academy. I did like some Steph's camp, a bunch of different things.
I saw you did Allen Iverson's camp too.
Yeah, we did that together. And after, and Team Canada was probably a good experience too. It was my first time like really leaving the country, traveling since like Cuba maybe. So we go to Chile and it's like June, July. First of all, it's winter there in June, July. And I had no idea. So I'm freezing. And we go against probably one of the craziest USA teams in the finals. It was Trae Young. It was PJ Washington, Hami Diallo, Markelle Fultz, Michael Porter, Jarrett Allen, Mo Bamba, Kevin Herter. What's on that team? MJ Walker, Matt Coleman. And I'm blanking on 2. Was it Jericho? Nah. Might not have been Jericho.
And your team? Team
Our
Canada?
teams was me, Shay, O'Shea Brissett, Lindell Wigginton. Josip went to Santa Clara. He played with J-Dub, I think. That was it.
There was no...
No, we had other... But if I tell you the names... Like,
I won't know who they are.
Yeah. Like Grant Shepard. No. You're not going to know him. Jordan Henry. He played on my AAU team. He should have been like, to me, he was like Tony Parker.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But didn't pan out for him, but like he was cold.
Yeah.
He was cold.
What was the result of that game?
we lost. I went crazy for sure. If you watch,
Tell me about
I
that,
went
because
crazy.
then I compare this with highlights and we can just watch you.
Okay,
What was going
so
through your head? What was going through your head in that game? Because you're playing against some of the best talent in Team USA, and you're representing Team Canada.
There's a point in time. Oh, Abuki Gab, he went to Oregon. He was on our team too. Sorry, but there's a point in time in that game where it starts off and we're like, wait, we can actually beat these guys. And so we were flowing and we're playing. You kind of like gain confidence. You're rolling up steam, and I get hot. Now that tournament, I think I led it in scoring. So I get hot. Shea rolls his ankle. So he might be like cooked for the game. Lindell rolls his ankle. So Lindell's cooked for the game. So it's me and O'Shea and Abu. And at some point in time, like, I remember the second half, where it was like the third quarter or whatever. I ended up going crazy. And I remember like turning to the crowd. I think I hit like 2 threes back to back or something. I remember turning to the crowd. And the first thing that went to my mind was Allen Iverson. Like when he was going like this to the crowd. So I did this and I started like going like this. Like the game was over, but it was just like third or fourth. And we made a run to where either we had the lead or it's tied up. And I remember that they were booing the US in Chile. Like they were booing them. Like they were actually cheering for Canada, which is crazy. We ended up losing because obviously they had way too much firepower.
Yep.
And then Markelle Fultz, this is the year right before he goes to Washington to be number 1 pick. Just took over the game.
Yeah.
We ended up losing, but that was probably one of the craziest memories for me. And then individually, I would say after that game, I was like, yeah, I can definitely.
Was that the moment? Or was there a few?
That's one of them. That's when I was like, okay, yeah, I can definitely play. Like, I can definitely play with these guys. And then we went into our senior year, and then it was like, I think Shea also played with the senior men's team and went to like the World Cup in like the Philippines or Manila or something. And that was crazy at the time because it was like all NBA players. And I think like that summer maybe for him, but for us, I would say probably like really put us on like a NBA radar, so to speak. Like, okay, yeah, these guys can be potential pros.
Yeah. I want to ask a few random rapid fire questions. I'm curious, who's the biggest trash talker that you've come across in the league?
Anthony Edwards.
On your own team?
Mm-hmm. And well, yeah, he'll trash talk a wall. Like he can talk to anyone, and it gets him going. He doesn't trash talk to trash talk. Like it gets him going. Like it wakes him up.
So someone who doesn't respond probably even doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you don't respond, he'll trash talk you for not responding.
Yeah, he's got to.
Yeah. I would say he's very witty in that way, where like he's just got good like comebacks and good remarks, and like he's just gonna be able to come up with anything.
Yeah. I've noticed when I'm watching you play, you have a real even keel. You almost never celebrate when you do something, but you always celebrate when your teammates do. Mm-hmm. Do you notice that about yourself?
Yeah. I think for me, the 1 3-point celebration is enough. But at certain points in time in the game, when I used to realize, it was like, came to a point where like I was in high school, I used to like scream all the time. Or it's 2 things. Someone said like, it seems almost as if you're not used to it, or like you're surprised, or like, you know, you're like surprising yourself. And then also
like you've never been here.
Mm-hmm. And then also because of the ups and downs of the game, it's kind of gotten to a point where I'm like, I can't be the guy that's like all hyped after he scores and all that stuff. And then boom, he plays bad and then he's moping. And like, I never want to be that guy. And I want to like really work on like the mental of the game. I'm not getting too high and not getting too low, or not putting too much stress on things. So for me, it was like stay focused, stay locked in, get to the next play, so to speak.
Yep. Who are some of the players you modeled your game after growing up, and then also once you've reached the NBA as you sort of carve out your lane?
I watched a lot of Kobe.
What was it about Kobe's game that you liked?
I think the one thing that I was always using was anytime he would pump fake, reverse pivot. Like
You have a great pump fake.
pump fake, reverse pivot, pump fake, reverse pivot. Like that became what I would do in college. Like I remember there's one against Duke. I remember I did it Golden State. Like it was like something that was just felt natural to me. Where like just with that reverse pivot. But I wouldn't say I modeled my game after Kobe. Towards high school, I started watching a lot of Paul George and a lot of Victor Oladipo that year too. I don't know if that was his most improved player year, if he won that or something. But he was in Indiana. I started watching a lot of that too. And I just try to like find my niche. I think I just always appreciated guys. And it felt awkward because it felt like I couldn't really mimic it exactly. So I'll just try to take moves from this, take another move from that guy and just throw it all in.
And how about defensively? Have you always just been good at reading space and staying in front of your man, or did that come on later as you played more and more basketball?
As a kid, I probably wasn't. And my uncle used to like get so upset because you tell me you're not trying like hard enough, or like defense is all effort. You don't have to be fast, just be smart. He used to say that. And my mom would be like, oh, like, no, he's not as fast as like, he's like, Shea was always better than me defensively. He's like, he's not as fast. Shea had like a lot more athleticism than me at the time. And my uncle was just like adamant, no, like it has nothing to do with that. Put more effort into it. Then when my job was on the line, I had no choice but to defend and like really buy into that. And that's when I realized like, I knew there's times where I was like, oh yeah, I can defend, but that's when I knew like I could defend at a high level too.
What was that change?
The trade to Utah, I think the only way I knew I was going to be able to play, and Quinn Snyder had like kept it real with me and was like, yo, we're going to need you to defend. I think there's so much more you can do in that regard. And it worked. Like, it worked for me. And it helped me. And one thing I noticed, it helped me, like, find a rhythm in the game. Like, now I find myself through defense in a game as opposed to, like, offense, getting in a rhythm and getting to my spots or whatever. It's like I had to learn, like, defensively to activate myself offensively.
Yeah, and sort of what you mentioned earlier is sort of slow the game down by getting a stop, getting a big rebound, and getting involved and getting your hands on the ball when plays probably aren't being called for you as the main ball scorer.
Yeah.
So like defense is always there. You can always go get a rebound off of the rim. I'm curious. We talked. I probably cut this part, but you had mentioned that you wanted to get more of your story and narrative out there. I'm curious. I have a bunch of questions. Is there any question that you wish people asked you more about?
Honestly, there's no question that like I want to be asked. I don't think like I'm dying to share this. It's not like show and tell in a sense, but one thing that I've learned that is very important is for anyone like that's coming and they're being told the NBA is a business. You got to be prepared. You got to be professional. No, that is true. To me, it feels useless because you don't necessarily know what that means if you're one and done, if you're two and out. Like at 19, 18, 17, turning 18, whatever it is, and you're getting drafted, and you now for them just made $3 million from NIL, they don't understand that business part. Now, I think NIL could have maybe helped them understand the business because now they're making money to it.
Yeah, I'm curious. What's the advice you would give to that person if it was you coming in 2019? What would you tell yourself?
It's like you have to take whatever is in front of you and turn it into the best production you possibly can. Whatever is in front of you. I think I got caught up in a situation that was in front of me, and because I didn't like it, it would affect me sometimes mentally. Not all the time, just sometimes. You can't spend time in what I call now wasted emotion. Like life is going to be hard as is. So don't give it reason to be harder. Don't add fuel to the fire. Whatever is in front of you, make the most out of it, use it to your advantage. And then from there, things will slowly start to play in your favor.
Yeah, I feel that. There's this sense that, especially probably as you're rising to reach your dream of being an NBA player, that you should be somewhere. Mm-hmm. And the idea that you're exactly where you are once you reach the NBA is probably much better advice, because then it helps you take control of what's in front of you rather than wish, I wish I was drafted 32nd because that would have got me to another team that has more space for young guards. And that doesn't help you exactly where you are today, which is I need to knock down shots in my limited minutes or whatever situation that is. So,
and that just goes down to like situations like that. I think that's one, choosing your agents wisely. Don't fall for, I can get you this, I can get you that. Like understanding, making sure you're on the same page with the people that are going to work with, because while you're fighting for your life in the gym, working out, trying to be as prepared and as the best player you can possibly be, these people are trying to get you and negotiate you to teams and whatever the case may be as to why you'd be a fit for them. And they need to know it's not about, I'm 8th pick looks better than 11th. When really and truly, the MVP was the 11th pick.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I guess there's more stats that you can do if you look at it and say, like, how many recent MVPs were the first pick? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's more about what situation is best for you to grow to be that player that you want to be.
Yeah. So a big piece of that is trust, I'm hearing. How do you choose your inner circle, and what have you learned along the ways? Because I'm sure there's a bunch of failures. Maybe some people can learn from those, of where you've delegated trust in a way that didn't work out. Because like you said, it's a business, and in all businesses, there's a lot that goes down. That's just, you delegate your trust and it doesn't work out. So how do you trust and focus on what really literally moves the ball forward?
Paying attention to small signs. And it comes with a maturity as well. It comes with a maturity, because really listening to what people are saying, like, people are always going to show you who they are. A lot of times people ignore it because of certain things. There has to be something that's glaring in a sense of, oh, this is appealing, I like this, or I can get the car, or this will make me more money. Or if it's not about the genuine approach at which you're doing something, chances are it won't sustain itself. Now, you will run into trouble maybe 12 years down the line, but you can't outrun it no matter what. And then eventually when you get to that 12 years, it's going to be too late. Sometimes it happens right away, and you keep failing. I think for me, I learned that getting to the NBA because I was so goal oriented that, like, it had to be deeper than just the goal orientation of it. and deeper than just even the love of it, because the business can sometimes make you if you're not fully aware at the time. For me, I was mentally tough in certain things, but in that area, my mental health wasn't as strong. So that's where it affected me. So I can only speak for myself.
Right.
But I can say that it's gotta be deep. And it has to really mean something, and it's gotta be genuine to really turn it into something worthwhile, meaningful. If you look at everyone, like Kobe, it meant, like, in his speech, is like, you asked for my all, I gave you my heart, or something in his retirement thing. Like,
Yeah.
like he gave everything he was to the game.
Yep.
Like, that's a commitment deeper than just loving it.
Yep.
Like, deeper than even, I want to be an all-star. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't, because he did it. He won a ring. He could have stopped.
Mm-hmm.
But it was too deep that it allowed him to tear his Achilles and shoot free throws.
Yep.
Like, it has to mean more, because when you're going to run into a wall and it's going to smack the shit out you, and you're going to be left wondering, like, damn, should I get up or just lay here? And if you want to get up, then it's got to be deeper than
Just love.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's intense. Yeah, that sort of commitment I don't think a lot of people have in their life.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to hear, because yeah, for instance, Kobe Bryant notoriously didn't spend a whole lot of time with his family, and they loved him and still appreciated him because they knew that he was committed to a higher purpose that he had set out years before they were even born or had met. And he stayed committed for it for a long period of time. I want to get back to more basketball, and I'm curious some of these questions.
Mm-hmm.
Your jersey number, is there a reason?
So I chose 6 when I was in New Orleans. And for me, I was always looking like, man, I never had a number. Like, you know how everyone's like, I wore 0 my whole life. I wore 16 my whole life, whatever. So for me, I was like, I never really had a number. So I was like, I wonder what, I was like thinking, like, what number should I wear? Like, at the time, 6 just made sense. Like, me and my friends, we called each other, like, our group was like 6K, the group chat. I had 6 siblings from Toronto. So like all this, I guess for me, like 6 was like that thing that just kind of like played itself in my life.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? All right, I'll do 6. I got traded to Utah. And then when I got traded to Utah, they had 6 available. Bill Russell passed away. Rest in peace. And then the league retired his number. So now you can wear it if you're existing. Like, if you had the number, you can still wear it.
Mm.
But you can't change to the number. I get traded to Minnesota. Jordan McLaughlin had the number. And then I just couldn't get 6, so they had 9. 6 upside down. So
6 upside down is awesome.
I just took it.
Okay. Oh, this is a good one. If you could steal one skill from another NBA player, what would it be? Past or present?
Skill from an NBA player? I'll take Steph shooting. Or Jokic playmaking. 1 and 2. Steph shooting or Jokic playmaking.
What's the difference between playing those two? I mean, you have to guard guards, so tell me what it's like trying to run around with Steph.
Honestly, it's tough because he demands so much attention that he also is good at like using his gravity to get open shots. So then now you're thinking, I have to help, which is going to get him open shots. And then you're going to get yelled at for letting the greatest shooter of all time get an open 3. So it's tough. And that's like credit to their system and like how he plays, how he's like even able to play off of other guys. And it's not your typical ISO guy where it's like he has this move and you got to figure out his move. It's not Shea getting to his bump and then shooting the mid-range. James Harden's step back that you have to be aware of. It's at any point in time, he can fly off and then he's going to run to the corner. You turn your back, you're running into Kevon Looney or a Draymond handoff or whatever the case may be. It's like, it's organized chaos, so to speak. And like, he just plays well because he also has, like, it looks like he has a lot of fun. So he's not afraid of making mistakes, or he's not afraid of anything. So then that way, like, now it's tougher because he's got the confidence to with the skill and the talent.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting piece of the playfulness he brings to the game. He like literally enjoys the game. And you think about all-time greats like Michael Jordan, which brought in intensity, or Kobe Bryant, who brought in intensity, not a lot of smiles going on. And I think that's interesting to think about Ant Edwards, because I see both come through in terms of really enjoying the game, but also having that switch of killer instinct. And the toggling is an interesting part. You mentioned playmaking like Jokic. What's it like playing against him with that playmaking?
It's tough because he sees things, sometimes feels like 2 plays ahead. And it's tough because his usage rate is high, but he's able to create good shots all the time. He's able to kind of make something happen all the time. And that's what is... It's tough because you double him, he's going to make the right play, and then he has a good team. He's got Murray, Christian Brown played well this year, Michael Porter. We all know who's capable of like knocking shots down, and he's going to make guys better around him. And the craziest things is like when you see the clips and he's like pointing at Monte Morris, like, go right here, go right here, go right here. Goes, sets the screen, boom, layup, jogs back. And it's like he's just so smart, and he has a high IQ that like it makes it tough because you have to play him. You have to play him honest. There is no cheating. If you're in early, he's throwing the corner pass, hasn't even looked. He just knows you're in early, so he's throwing it, and he knows that, oh, because you're in early, I'm just gonna throw it to the corner without looking. He's just like, oh, he's there. Okay, that's what it means. Like he understands the game, I would say.
Who? Last few questions, and then we'll get going. Who's a player that is underrated that you think deserves more shine in the league, that's been maybe tough to guard, or someone that just doesn't get the press?
Now, maybe De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox. Yeah. I think. If you asked me that, like, 3 years ago, I would have said Jalen Brunson. Like when I was playing him in New Orleans, yeah, I would say Jalen Brunson.
It's a good one. All right, last couple questions. To that question earlier, was there anything that you wanted to chat about, lifestyle stuff? Because we covered a lot here.
Yeah. I wanna like learn more about development. I want to learn more about commercial real estate. And
What excites you about the commercial real estate space?
I think the most exciting thing is like being able to bring to life things that everyone can enjoy. Growing up in Toronto, it was hard to find a lot of gyms. Like if I had to like go in early or sneak and hide in the locker room just to be able to shoot afterwards, it was like finding a gym that you can like share that love with. Everyone can like share that love with. And it's like different areas. Like I remember for me to get to a spot called Hoop Dome, it would take me an hour.
Oh, really? Just to work out?
Yeah, just to go all the way there, like through the bus system. So it's like, how can I create that for everyone in the city that loves basketball? And then basketball in Toronto is like really growing. Stuff like that. And also like wishing I had people around to like teach me more with that experience. I think a lot of guys, now that there's more, also it helps, like more NBA players from Canada, it helps that they come back and they can teach and they can really show like this is what will help. And this is not gonna work in the league, because you see a lot of guys that want to be trainers, and no disrespect to them, they just haven't been in that level, so they might not understand. So now like you have guys like learning things and kids learning things that are going to be fully useful to them.
Doesn't translate.
Yeah. And then also like I've always looked at it as like a monopoly thing. Like for me, how can I have a piece of the city that I'm from? And I always wanted to have a piece of it as mine in a way, like whether that was restaurants, whether that was stores and clothing and stuff that I'm interested in, or brands that my friends want to start, shopping malls. Like when I think about it, like how much money I've probably spent here as a kid. And then there's a lot of nostalgia there. So it's like, for me, that's something I want to now share in a way and then create.
Is there any projects currently going?
Currently, no. I think I've been blessed to like meet a lot of people in my life that can help me, and like I will pick their brain a lot for understanding. No current projects yet. Right now I'm like in the process of like learning what it is that I really want to do, and like making sure that I'm like having discussions with the right people to understand, because that's their craft too. And it's like I'd hate for someone to always dream of playing in the NBA and just try playing basketball and just all of a sudden comes out of nowhere just trying to play basketball. Like, there's a lot of years, pain, broken bones, blood, cuts, tears, people tearing ACLs, like surgery. There's so much that goes into like where everyone is now. Yeah. For like someone to just say, yeah, I want to do it. Like, I don't want to be that guy. Like, I can, so I will. Yeah. Like, I want to learn about it. I want to appreciate the craft behind it first.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens off the court.
Yeah, I am too.
Seems like a gym's in order.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe, do you see, last question, do you see yourself staying connected to the game after you retire, 20 years down the road?
That depends. Right now, I only have one kid, and I want to have more. And if they want me involved, and if they want to play, I save Abe. If I'm lucky to have enough, I have more. But if he wants to, I'm here for him. Like, I would love to watch him grow, and now that's a father-son thing that we can share.
Yeah,
turn into something. But if
I think
he also
doesn't, I think basketball runs in the blood.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I
think there's probably already basketballs around, so his first memories is just holding a basketball, like you.
Yeah, I have like loads of videos of him like actually shooting. He's 14 months now, like actually shooting a basketball into the net. And this is well before he learned to walk.
Wow.
So like he just started walking maybe 2 weeks ago. And now it's like really cool because he loves his ball. He loves playing with it. Anything he gets a toy, he gets a fork to eat. He's just obsessed with throwing things. Like if we gave him like these little toy animals, he's gonna try to throw it in his basketball net.
Let's go.
That's just like what he does.
Distance.
He doesn't like, that's his thing. Or he'll try to go dunk it.
Yeah.
Like for him, everything's his basketball right now, which is cool. I don't know if I brainwashed him, but like it's like,
it's hard to beat. That's just love, man. You love the game.
It's a relieving feeling. Not like I'm pressuring him, because I, by all means, like I only want to take it there when he says, like, Dad, like I want to go to the NBA. When he says that, then it's gonna be boot camp. But until then, like, have at it.
Let's go, dude. I really appreciate your time.
Of course,
thanks for coming by.
Yeah,
We'll see you.
Thank you.